Okay, so for the next method of solving quadratic equations, we're going to use completing the square. This is probably the most disliked among my students. But to do this, what you're going to do is you have your equation. We're looking at 3a, and you're going to add something that is not there right now presently. So what I like to do when I do this is I put add something and subtract something. Now, that something is b over 2 squared. Okay, so b in this case is 8. 8 over 2 squared, which is 4, squared, which is 16. So 16 is being added and subtracted. Now, this thing will factor nicely. And so it will factor oh, I'm sorry, this should also be equal to 0. I forgot we're solving an equation. So this will be equal to something, or I'm sorry, 0. And so this will factor as x plus 4 squared. Now, if you do the x method, you have 8, you have 16, I'm sorry, I did that backwards. You have 16, you have 8, that's 4 and 4. Now the way I do it, the way I know what goes here, this was positive 4, so that's what goes here. So that's how I do that. Minus 16 is equal to 0. Now I'm just going to solve this like I did on the last example from the other video. So let's do it. I have plus 16, x plus 4 squared equals 16. I take the square root. X plus 4 is equal to plus or minus 4. Then I subtract 4. So I have x is equal to negative 4 plus 4 and negative 4 minus 4, which gives x is equal to 0 and negative 8. Okay, so that's the first one. Now for the next one, what's going to happen, we are going to do, it's going to be a little bit more different because it's going to be not as nice. X squared minus 7x. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing, plus something, minus something. Okay, so we do b over 2, that's negative 7. Notice I took the negative sign. Negative 7 over 2 squared. And then that is going to be 49 over 4. So I'm going to do 49 over 4. Hi, baby. And then 49 over 4. And then I am going to factor this. This is going to factor nicely as x. Notice this is minus 7 over 2 squared minus 49 over 4 is equal to 0. Okay, so I'm going to add 49 over 4. That's x minus 7 over 2 squared equals 49 over 4. Take the square root. X minus 7 over 2 is equal to 7 over 2, plus or minus. It's plus or minus, remember, because there was an x squared on this side. If you have an x squared, you can take the positive or negative value and get the right answer. We add the 7 over 2. And x is equal to 7 over 2 plus or minus 7 over 2. 7 over 2 plus 7 over 2 is 14 over 2, so x is equal to 7. I'm sorry, I said that. I'll write it. 7 over 2 plus 7 over 2 is 14 over 2. And 7 over 2 minus 7 over 2 is 0, so this is x equals 7 or 0. Okay, for the next one, this one's even trickier. X squared plus 3/5 x plus something minus something. So we do 3/5 divided by 2 squared. Well, this simplifies as 3 over 10 squared. All I did was drop the 5 down and multiply it to the 2. That is the trick. If you want, you can use keep, change, flip and do it that way. And then this is 9 over 100. Okay, so that's taken care of. And now this factors as x plus 3 over 10 squared minus 9 over 100 is equal to 0. So this is x plus 3 over 10 squared is equal to 9 over 100. I just added this. And we square root x plus 3 over 10 is equal to plus or minus 3 over 10. And so we get x, minus 3 over 10. X is equal to 0. And 3/10 plus 3/10 is 6/10, which is equal to 3/5. Okay. So that's that one. And then last but not least, last completing the square. This one's a little bit more challenging, and you're going to have to pay close attention to how to do this. Make sure that you use the parentheses how I've been using them. Okay, so for this one we have to have two sets of parentheses. 9x squared minus 6x minus 4 is equal to 0. Okay, so we're going to still add and subtract something, but we want to get rid of this 4 first. So we're going to add the 4 to the other side just so it's not in our way. That's 9x squared minus 6x is equal to 4. I need more space. Come on. Oh, it froze on me. Give me a second. There it is. So we're going to add something, subtract something, and then we're going to set it equal to 4 in this case. So I'm putting parentheses here. There is a very important reason why I'm doing this. Okay, so the next step, first thing we have to do, once we have the x's separated, we have to factor out the lead coefficient. So 9 is going to factor out from these two things. So we have 9x squared, so that's in good condition, minus 6 over 9, which is, we're just dividing it by 9. X plus something minus something is equal to 4. Okay. So far so good. All I do, when you factor something out, you're just technically dividing it by 9, or by the number. So we divided this by 9, we divided that by 9, and it came out in front, because if I multiply it back, I will get back the original. Okay, now that that's been settled, we are going to start this completing the square business. So we're going to do our b over 2. Okay, so our b here is negative 6 over 9 over 2 squared, which is negative 6 over 18, which is negative 1/3. Okay, so that's negative 1/3, which is squared, which is 1/9. So we're going to add 1/9 and 1/9. Okay, so now we're going to do what we've done previously, but we still have the 9 here. This is x, well, that's why I simplified this over here, negative 1/3 squared. Okay, I just took this value. And then we have minus 1/9 is equal to 4. Okay, so that's taken care of. Now we're going to distribute this 9 to this and this. So we have 9x minus 1/3 squared minus 1, because 9 times 1/9 is 1, is equal to 4. We add the 1. 9x minus 1/3 squared is equal to 5. Divide by 9, divide by 9. Now we have x minus 1/3 squared is equal to 5/9. We take the square root. X minus 1/3 is equal to plus or minus the square root of 5 over 3. Square root of 9 is 3, don't forget. And then I add the 1/3 to both sides. And now I have x is equal to 1/3 plus square root of 5 over 9. Over 3. And 1/3 minus square root of 5 over 3. Okay, so that's taken care of. So as you see, if there's a number in the front, that's a little bit more challenging. You have to remember a couple things. First, you have to factor out that 9. It could be ugly if there's a number here and it's a fraction, but that's okay. We can take care of fractions easily in this step. And then you have to remember to distribute it back, and that's why I'm telling you to put the parentheses like I have done in this problem. Okay? And so last but not least, let's finish this video off with the quadratic formula. The quadratic formula is x is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. That's from the song. There's a song to it. So we have 2x squared minus 6x plus 1 is equal to 0. One thing to note about this, to use this, it has to be in this form. Ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. It has to be in that form where everything's on the same side, or you cannot use the quadratic formula. Okay, so since this one is, we're going to plug in, here's a, here's b, here's c. So we have x equals negative 6. Anywhere I'm plugging something in for b or a or c, I'm going to put parentheses around it. That's negative 6 squared minus 4 times a, which is 2 times 1, all over 2 times 2. Okay, I might need some more room down here. Wait, what? It didn't erase it. There it goes. Okay, so this is going to be negative 6, that's positive 6, plus or minus the square root of 36 minus 8 over 4. Okay, so this is going to be 6 plus or minus the square root of 26 over 4. 26 is 2 times 13, so it's prime. We can't break it down any smaller, so this is just going to simply be x is equal to 6 over 4 plus or minus the square root of 26 over 4, which is x is equal to 3 over 2 plus or minus the square root of 26 over 4, which is two different numbers, one if you add, one if you subtract. Make sure you guys practice this on Alex. It is on there. It's not the most difficult thing to do. It might even have nicer answers. I think you guys will do fine. Thank you guys.